For Sentinel.com, this is Ira Winderman with your latest Ask Ira Miami Heat mailbag. Our first question today comes from Mateo, who says, I find it difficult to fathom that management has seemingly distanced themselves from Chris Bosh during the summer, leading right up to training camp. You think they would have been working closer together. I also found it odd that Chris hasn't been in South Florida in recent weeks working out with the other players. It's a shame this hasn't been handled better. Mateo, to me, what happened to this point doesn't matter as much as what happens next. Chris is back in South Florida. He still has time for a full week of informal workouts with teammates, and I'll be curious to see how that part of it plays out. I know so much is made about bonding, but you know what? Bonding is overrated when it comes to talent. I would rather have a talented player who's returning to the roster who might not have been around all summer than someone who bonds with their teammates, and that still can happen. I think right now, what really matters is Chris and the Heat and his teammates getting on the same page in time for the start of training camp. I think everything else is sort of become an afterthought because of that. Our second question comes from Jack in Fort Myers, who says, will the Heat rotation go deep into this roster? As a perennial favorite for championship contention, the emphasis has been on 7- and 8-man rotations, and that made sense. But in a transition year, searching for player upsides and wanting 48 minutes of up-tempo play, wouldn't it be smarter to go deeper into the rotation? Jack, I think it's still all about talent. You play the talent that you have. Not so sure the Heat have 10 deep talent right now. If Chris Bosh comes back, I think you'll see plenty of Bosh, Hassan Whiteside, Goran Dragic, and Justice Winslow, with other pieces filling in as needed. I think you'll see Josh Richardson, Dion Waiters, and Tyler Johnson, especially with the move to small ball. But I'm not so sure the Heat necessarily have committed themselves to guaranteed minutes to Derek Williams, Wayne Ellington, James Johnson, Luke Babbitt, or Willie Reed, let alone Josh McRoberts or Udonis Haslem. And our last question comes from FT, who says, Pat Riley is an NBA icon that will inspire the ages. Riley doesn't owe players, players owe Riley. Whatever Dwayne Wade thinks he has contributed to the game of basketball is minuscule to what Pat Riley has done for basketball. Riley drafted and developed Wade. Wade is not his premier legacy player. Riley has many. How many legacy coaches does Wade have? FT, I don't think this is the point. It should never have been about Riley versus Wade this summer. The two should have found a way to make it work if they wanted to make it to work. That's the part I'm still not sure about. Look, Riley was a championship presence before Dwayne Wade arrived, but Dwayne Wade's arrival allowed Pat Riley to keep that aura into another decade or even two. While both have said all the right things since the parting, you still wonder how this played out, with Dwayne Wade saying he is yet to receive that farewell email from Pat Riley. You still wonder, could this have wound up in a lot better situation than the way it played out? Those are today's 3 questions. We'll be back tomorrow with 3 more. For SunSentinel.com, I'm Ira Winderman.